Throughout history, there's been lots of movies filmed back-to-back with each other. Superman 1 and 2, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, Back to the Future 2 and 3. Well, now we can add the Killer Crocodile films to that list. Yep, they're just as beloved as those other movies I mentioned. In hindsight, it kind of makes sense that both Killer Crocodile flicks were made back-to-back. After all, you're already in the jungle with a big crocodile animatronic. Why not shoot enough footage for 2 movies? For this one, Fabrizio De Angelis stayed on as producer, but handed directing duties over to Gianetto De Rossi, who was responsible for the mechanical crocodile effects. So a year after the first Killer Crocodile, we got Killer Crocodile 2. Considering a lot of direct-to-video horror series from the 80s and 90s were just in-name only sequels that use the same premise, it's nice to see a sequel that actually continues on from the previous one. Speaking of which, if you missed the first one, this starts out with a handy recap. We learned that outboard motors can cause crocodiles to randomly explode, and that 80s horror flicks always need a sequel-bait ending, except this time they made sure it actually got a sequel. It is never a good sign when a movie's produced by somebody named Hack, though. In addition to the stock footage, this has basically the same opening as the first one, with a couple going down to the beach and the girl getting eaten by the crocodile while swimming. And just like the girl in the first movie, this one's also smuggling Brillo pads under her arms. Hell, they even reused the same shot of the crocodile first appearing, just flipped the other way. Well, at least this one has some new dialogue.
I told you there's no one here. You can do without your bathing suit.
The trouble is, when I take off my bathing suit, I feel naked.
Yeah, and when you get bit by a crocodile, you feel like you're getting eaten.
Help!
Hang on, babe. I'll come save you right after I catch this righteous wave. Okay, guess he won't. Well, at least they're cleaning up the radioactive waste from the last movie. Don't worry about using gloves or any sort of protection there, fellas.
Did you paint the radioactivity symbol on this one too?
They told me to paint it on 12 barrels.
Oh, they're fake? Alright, never mind, I guess they don't need any then. Alright, obviously there's something fishy going on here. A reporter phones his boss about the radioactive barrels and then goes to investigate, and I gotta admit, I was already surprised the whole illegal dumping plotline took up so much of the first movie, so I'm really shocked they continued it into the sequel. Well, can't imagine there's anything shady going on here.
No!
That's for trying to expose our illegal mislabeling operation, asshole. We then cut to an office building in America, I think, where we meet our main character, Lisa. And if anyone needs a reminder, this was made in the late 80s.
And every decent-looking man you see at these parties is either married or a
British cigarette. Whoa, easy there, Lisa. You'll get this movie an 80s PG rating with that kind of language. Lisa's a reporter looking for a big scoop, but hasn't found anything good yet.
Oh, you want to win yourself a Pulitzer Prize now.
I really want to write something different. Be a hell of a change.
Forget different. Just make a Jaws knockoff with a crocodile and then pump out a sequel.
Your sense of humor leaves a lot to be desired.
Oh, I don't know. I think I've done pretty well for myself. I make dick jokes over old monster movies for a living. And if you needed more proof this was filmed in the late 80s, yikes, look at that suit. Looks like Austin Powers fucked a picnic table. The plot finally gets going when Lisa gets an assignment from her boss to go to whatever country this movie's supposed to take place in.
Yeah, I sent Lisa to the Caribbean.
I didn't specify a country, so she should be gone for a while. As far as what's happening on the island, a wealthy developer is planning on constructing a new tourist spot.
I can't put off the start of construction for the tourist village one more day. I've pushed through the financing deal with the bank, giving a press conference today to announce the beginning of construction.
Thanks, exposition copter. Oh, and here's some more stock footage from the first one, right down to the guy's arm moving the plants out of the way. Although this does have something the first movie didn't, the crocodile attacking a boat full of kids and some nuns.
The crocodile! Hold
Yeah, what's black and white and dead all over, bitch? Well, this is pretty horrific, although the kids on the other boats seem pretty happy for some reason. Damn, this is an even worse field trip than that time they visited Jonestown. The free Kool-Aid was not worth it. Anyway, the guy building the tourist resort is named Baxter, who holds a press conference.
Our Isabella River, once polluted, by criminals with no love for their country or its people.
Well, it's pretty hard to have love for your country when you don't even know what it is. Baxter says he's cleaned up all the radioactive waste, but Lisa remains skeptical.
I don't think we've met before, miss.
Miss Lisa Post, from the New York Chronicle.
If you work for the New York Chronicle, then why were you in Miami earlier? Anyway, tell us about that resort you're building.
It will have the effect of increasing tourism, which, as we all know, is a largely untapped source of income in this country.
And even though I still won't say what country that is, you can rest assured that I'll never close the beaches, no matter how many people are eaten by crocodiles. Lisa, of course, doesn't believe Baxter's story about cleaning up the radioactive barrels and decides to play Nancy Drew and see for herself, using the Geiger counter that she apparently keeps in her purse.
No radioactivity, nothing.
So yeah, turns out Baxter's been secretly making fake barrels to make it seem like he's cleaned up the swamp, which begs the question, why? If he's serious about making a resort there, wouldn't he want to get rid of the radioactive barrels? Why go through all the trouble of making fake ones? The movie kinda says that he can't find some of the barrels and just doesn't want to wait. But considering the potential lawsuits he'd have on his hands if any tourist got radiation poisoning, he might want to at least take an extra weekend to go find them. Regardless, Baxter's still got some goons in the swamp, which means we have more cannon fodder for the Croc. I gotta admit, this part where the guy goes wandering around the swamp at night and encounters the crocodile is probably the most atmospheric part of the movie. It almost reminds me of a tropical version of the woods from Evil Dead. Well, okay, maybe not Evil Dead, but at least pod people. The crocodile also looks better at night, which makes me wonder why most of the scenes involving it take place during the daytime.
Have you finished being an asshole?
Hey, I was being nice a second ago.
A big crocodile! The biggest one I ever saw in my life! It's 40 feet long, maybe 50.
I mean, its size kind of varies depending on the shot, but it's big, I tell you. And it's got good timing, too.
It's the biggest crocodile with the biggest mouth.
All right,
I
watch
tell you
yourself.
like that!
Should I have put a Kool-Aid Man oh yeah over top of that? Whatever, it's fine. This part where the crocodile drags the hut into the swamp is probably the most memorable set piece of the movie, although I have to admit, there are parts where you can tell the mechanical croc is on a track here. And the track apparently didn't go all the way into the water. Lisa calls her boss and tells him she knows Baxter's lying about the radioactive barrels.
So that son of a bitch is sending people to live in a contaminated area and has that goo still hidden out there somewhere?
Again, why? That seems like it would be really bad for business. Is there a reason he's doing this? Other than he's bad, I guess? Lisa wants to go to the swamp and get proof, but he insists on sending some help.
The only one who knows the swamp well. Kevin.
Who?
Yeah, who?
Kevin Jones. You know him.
Shit.
Oh yeah, the guy from the first one. I forgot he had a name. I usually just refer to him as that guy. Lisa hires a boat to investigate the swamp, but word gets back to Baxter, who in addition to being a land developer also moonlights as a low-level Miami Vice villain. And what's up with bodyguard Billy D. Pee Wee Herman here? Is the secret word of the day Colt 45?
She was nosing around the warehouse where we keep the barrels.
She's not giving up, eh?
Well, she's gonna have to learn Baxter's not a guy to be fucked with.
Pay the fisherman off. I want him to scare her, but not to overdo it.
That's right, if you mess with Baxter's operations, he will mildly prank your ass. Of course, none of that matters if Lisa can't find proof the radioactive barrels are still in the swamp. There's gotta be some radiation out here somewhere. This is where they filmed that movie where John Wayne played Toussaint Louverture. Also, no wonder you're not finding anything. You're using a voltmeter, stupid. But I'll tell you one thing they do find in that swamp. Dead ass.
Do you mind telling me what's going on?
Whoa, what the hell are you doing, dude? Baxter said to scare her a little. Okay, judging by that reaction, I guess it is a little. Fortunately for Lisa, the crocodile comes along before she can get assaulted by a trouser snake. Yeah, that's right, pal. You wanted some head? Well, now you just lost yours. And apparently the crocodile can levitate this time around. Bad news, Lisa. Turns out that horror movie cliche about the car not starting also applies to boats, too. Okay, if this movie pulled a psycho and had her die halfway through, that would actually be pretty interesting. Nope, she's still alive. Meanwhile, Kevin makes his way to Caribbean Stan and checks in under his secret identity, 80s Greg Sestero. He also does some detective work regarding the crocodile, which mainly involves more flashbacks to the first movie. Gotta get this to feature length after all. Hell, even when he visits Joe, it uses more footage from the first one. Yeah, I remember Joe had a hat. Thanks, movie.
You're just in time to sample the newest batch.
I've been making my homemade Robitussin. Well, on the plus side, it looks like Joe's redecorated since the first movie. Now that they've reunited, this'll give him time to catch up.
There's another one, Joe.
It might have been a crocodile, but nowhere near as big. There just aren't any more like that one. It was the only one.
How do you know? You saw that it laid eggs, and even if you think you got all of them, I'm assuming the first crocodile didn't make those by itself.
Not if he reproduces asexually.
Don't bring that shit up!
And if there really is a crocodile, help me hunt it down.
Weren't you the guy that, once upon a time, protected animals?
Ah, come on, Joe, that was the first movie. Also, don't do a flashback to it, I remember. And despite the flashbacks, there's still some inconsistencies here.
That crocodile destroyed my life. It killed all my friends.
Well, I mean, it killed 2 of them. The rest of them were all still alive by the end. They just didn't want to be in the sequel, that's all. While Joe and Kevin go looking for the crocodile, Lisa puts her survival skills to the test by building a shelter, and she can still do her hair and makeup. Okay, not anymore. Anyway, how's that croc hunt going, fellas?
If that crocodile really exists, it's gonna be tough.
It exists, and it knows we're here.
Damn right I know you're here, and you're gonna pay for killing my dad. Maybe I'll go after yours, too. You're next on my list, Richard Crenna.
No, seriously, the guy playing Kevin really is Richard Crenna's son. I probably should have mentioned that in the last video, but I didn't realize that until now. Sure enough, the crocodile does find him, and surprisingly, Joe actually dies this time. I say surprisingly because in the first movie, he somehow managed to survive this with just a few cuts on his arm, and in this one, his death is so quick and anticlimactic, it makes me think the actor really wanted to go home to Italy and was only in the sequel as a favor to the producer.
You have to do it. You have to kill that bastard kid.
Tell my snake I love her. Ugh. Man, Kevin is so upset he can't even get the words out. Seriously, just look.
I'll kill him, Joe! I swear to God! I swear to God I'll kill him!
Okay, the dubber was a little late there. On the plus side, at least Kevin found Lisa.
Jesus, you passed right in front of me and I yelled myself hoarse. There you were, and I couldn't even attract your attention.
2 days I've been in this swamp, looking for you everywhere. And you have the nerve to be furious.
Hey, come on, we're love interests. I think? Were we love interests before? How exactly do we know each other? And even if you are supposed to be love interests, you're moving a little fast here, Lisa.
What are you doing?
You want that croc? I'll be your bait.
Okay, I don't think trying to give the croc an erection is gonna attract it.
That thing's a monster. It can't be killed with a rifle.
Only an outboard motor can kill it. Everyone knows that. As wacky as Lisa's plan is, it still makes more sense than some of the dubbing here.
Bob! What is this? The place is wrecked? What the hell happened around here? A tornado?
It's making my accent go mucho estereotipado. Hey, vato, pendejo. The goons report back to Baxter, and hey, now he's looking more like a Miami Vice villain.
And the girl?
She's still in the swamp.
We're both damn good at cleaning up swamps, right? Right, sir? So we know what we have to do.
Well, you're good at fake cleaning up the swamp, so are you telling them to pretend to kill her? Well, in the meantime, Kevin and Lisa can get to know each other, even though they already know each other, maybe?
Drink this. It's strong. It'll do you good.
Jesus, what is it?
It's toilet Robitussin. It'll cure your cough and get you super fucked up. And judging by how Lisa's acting, it might have some other side effects.
Don't you know that fear and near-death situations Stimulate and heighten the arousal of a human being's reproductive organs.
Is that why you tried stripping for the Croc earlier? Hey, here's something the first movie didn't have. Boobs. Alright, Kevin, time to show her your killer cock. While we're on the subject of relationships, remember last episode when I joked that the snake was actually Joe's wife?
I see you met Pilar.
Pilar!
She was Joe's sweetie.
Turns out I may have been right. Alright, in the first one they killed the crocodile with an outboard motor, but Kevin's got a new plan to take care of the second one. Dynamite.
Boom!
And did somebody say Jaws comparisons?
First, we head back into town, get some more equipment. And weapons. And we gotta get a bigger boat, too.
Okay, you are making this way too easy, movie. Meanwhile, Baxter sends his goons to go take care of Kevin and Lisa, and we learn something new about the crocodile. See, he really likes playing hide and seek.
Ready or not, you're fucking chum.
Look! That's the crocodile!
Shit!
As big as a house!
Well, I don't know about that, but it is as big as a hut. The climax here doesn't really top the attack on the nuns or the Croc destroying the hut from earlier. Instead, it's just some tourists getting attacked, but there is one wacky thing that happens here. Well, it's official. This series has jumped the Croc. Oh, and remember in the first one when Joe took a ride on the Croc? Well, Kevin tries to top that here by seeing if he can go 8 seconds on the crocodile. Also, in the first one I said I was glad there wasn't any obvious bath toy effects like in some other Jaws knockoffs I've done. Yeah, I can't really say that about this one. Alright, Lisa, toss him the dynamite. Or at least the motor. Another benefit to shooting a sequel back-to-back, you can just reuse the same shot of the crocodile exploding from the first one. Well, at least here it makes a little more sense. Alright, you killed Croc Jr. and there isn't a third one, so I guess that means everything's wrapped up.
The barrels got dislodged by the explosion. They were hidden right here.
Oh yeah, right, that was a subplot, wasn't it? You know, with how much screen time it got, it's still pretty easy to forget. By the way, that's the end. So if you were expecting Baxter to get some kind of comeuppance, nope. Considering the barrels were hidden, for all I know, he could have just said, oops, didn't know about those, and went on to build his resort anyway. So how does Killer Crocodile 2 stack up to the first one? About the same, I'd say. These were filmed at the same time, so you are basically getting the same movie again, just with a few differences. There is a lot more filler in this one, not just with the flashbacks to the first movie, but also the radioactive barrels subplot, which doesn't even really resolve in a satisfying way. But some of the set pieces, like the Croc destroying the hut and attacking the boat full of school children, do help make up for that a bit. So if you like the first one, this is one of those sequels that offers up more of the same, right down to more radioactive barrels. Kind of a shame the series didn't keep going, so we could have gotten Killer Crocodile 3D or Killer Crocodile vs. Alligator. But hey, 2 films is better than most of these types of movies get. Well, it's all for now. Until next time.
No!